I'm going to pause right here from our Through the Bible study going through Genesis, and I'm going to talk about concordances. What is an exhaustive concordance? And we're also going to hit on what is an interlinear Bible. And all of this is under the context of an awesome online resource that I suggest every Christ follower use, and that's the Blue Letter Bible. So I am going to turn on, just real quick to do this, I'm going to turn on screen recording. This is BlueLetterBible.org. And we are going, I'm just going to type in Gen 18, because that's what we're going through, and hit enter. And this is the interface that you're going to have. Up at the top, I mean, it's very, if you take just a few minutes to walk around it, and navigate around it, it's pretty self-explanatory. The arrows here, you have to go to the previous book of the Bible. The arrow here is to the next book, and then these are chapters. And then this is a quick nav where you were able to click on the book, then the chapter, then the verse. Then you have your search bar here where you can put in your actual verse, but you can also put search terms. You can put a phrase, the angel of the Lord, and it will search for every instance of that phrase, or you can put it in an actual word. Then you have your translations. These are the abbreviations of the translations. You also have, you can just click here and you can see all the translations that are spelled out. But one of the things that I really love that's so cool is that you have the Septuagint. So if you scroll down here, it's LXX. LXX is the abbreviation for the Septuagint. That is just a Roman numeral for 70. Septuagint means 70, and the historical tradition is that 70 Hebrew scholars in the 1st and 2nd century BC, this was them translating the Hebrew into Greek. So the Septuagint is the Old Testament translated into the local tongue from Hebrew into the more broad tongue of Greek. So if you want to read the Septuagint, there it is. There is our text, Genesis 18:1 in Greek. Now, if you click back up here, you can go to the Latin Vulgate. Vulgate means common or common tongue or commonly known. And the idea of the Latin Vulgate is that St. Jerome, in 400 AD is when it was completed, but his goal was to take the Bible from Hebrew and make it into Latin, which was the common tongue. And the same thing with the New Testament from Greek and make it into Latin, the common tongue. That was the goal. One of the unique things that he did was to not use the Septuagint as far as its translation from Hebrew into Greek, but to go back to the original Hebrew. So this is the Latin Vulgate, is if you want to read your text in Latin. And many of the Bible translations that we use today go back to and reference as one of their resources, both the Septuagint and the Latin Vulgate, simply as a reference for doing the modern translations. I think that's really cool. If you know Latin and if you know Greek, you can go back and look at this. We come back to the text here, and this is the NASB. And if you click up here, there's tools right here. And you can see interlinear Bibles, cross-references, commentaries, dictionaries, and miscellaneous. You can also just click the hyperlink for the actual verse. This is what I usually do. So I click on this. What this then brings up is fascinating. This is the Masoretic Text in the interlinear form. So let me explain what that means. This is an interlinear Bible. What an interlinear Bible is it takes the original Hebrew, puts it out in Hebrew, and then interlinear means between the lines. So in between the lines, it actually gives you the translation of that word into English. But you have it in the original Hebrew form, which is actually backwards as far as from left to right versus right to left. But then they have the translation off to the side. It's very tiny, and if you speak Hebrew, you are able to look at it and see the original Hebrew words, but it also shows you the sentence structure of the original Masoretic text. I'll explain that now. So the Masoretic text, the Masoretes or the Masoretes were Jewish scholars that lived and breathed the Old Testament, the Hebrew Bible. It was their life to pass this text along and to ensure that it was properly copied. But one of the things that the Masoretes did is they were the ones who actually added vowels to the text. The original text was all consonants without any spaces. It was literally just letters that just went down. They also added dots as reference points to when they were adding in vowels so that you could see it, but it made it easier to be able to read. We now have this as a reference. So if we want to look at a word, and through the Bible study that we're doing right now, Genesis 18:1, the Lord appeared to Abraham near the great trees of Mamre. Now Mamre, it's like, well, where is that? What is that? So using this as a reference, you can see each word that's in here, and you scroll down, and there's Mamre right there. Now, if you click on H4471, this is where Strong's Exhaustive Concordance comes in. And I have that here as well. This was compiled by Strong, Dr. James Strong, who lived from 1822 to 1894. It took him 35 years to complete. A concordance is taking a word out of the Bible and referencing each time that word is used. An exhaustive concordance is every single word in the Bible, including the, and, every word, every appearance of that word. So if you want to know every time the Bible talks about sheep or sheep gate or shepherd, any phrase, anything, an exhaustive concordance is phenomenal for that benefit. The downside, it's huge. It's absolutely huge. In fact, the going saying was going to seminary, you had to be really strong because you had to carry around your Strongs with you. Now, thankfully, today, we have references like Blue Letter Bible. You are able to, we have clicked on the Strong's H4471. Strong went through and gave a letter and a number to every single word, and we still use that. Scholars still use that to this day, and H4471 is this word Mamre. So this is all the information that we have on this word, including one of the things that I love about this that I try to use is the pronunciation.
Strong's H4471, Mamre.
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 Mamre. Now, I can't roll my R's nearly as well as this guy can, but so you can see how the original Hebrew was supposed to be pronounced, or how it is pronounced as a reference. But as you scroll down, there's so many elements that are here that you can dig in deep to be able to see these different elements. Now, as you scroll down, you get the concordance. And you see here every time the word Mamre is used. It was first referenced in Genesis 13. Now, I thought when it's first referenced in Genesis 13, then Abraham moved his tent and came and lived by the oaks of Mamre. You often see in the text it associated with trees. 18:1, the great trees of Mamre. I assumed that Mamre was a location, but we get from Genesis 14. Genesis 14 is when the kings from the east come in and they conquer and they quell a rebellion from Sodom and Gomorrah and 5 kings in the region of Canaan. Sodom and Gomorrah are part of those. And with the kings from the east coming in and conquering, they capture Abraham's nephew Lot. And they abduct him and take him up north along with plunder all the goods. Abraham gets this message, and that's actually Genesis 14:13. Then a survivor came and told Abram, the Hebrew. Now he was residing by the oaks of Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Eshcol and brother of Aner, and they were allies of Abram. It's from this that we learn that Mamre is an individual. Mamre, the Amorite, he is an individual who owns this land, who also aligns himself with Abram to go and defeat the kings from the east and rescue Lot. Genesis 14:24, Abram says to the king from Sodom, I will take nothing except what the young men have eaten and the share of the men who went with me, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre. It's through using references such as this that we can dig in deep to our text. I strongly suggest that you get familiar with using Blue Letter Bible. Two more things that I want to point out. Scroll all the way down to the bottom, and there's this really cool link for live map. If you click on that, this is at this moment a running tally of people that are referencing using the Blue Letter Bible. It's been going, I've been talking for now 10 seconds, and you can see the number of pages, the pages per second, where they are throughout the world right at this moment, referencing just this one online resource. It's really cool to see God working and God moving, and you can see it live right here, people searching their scriptures, learning about God together with us right now. I think that's really cool. The last thing I want to show you with Blue Letter Bible, and then we'll go back to finishing up Genesis 18 in our Through the Bible study. Up at the very top in the right is a button for donate. You should help the people who are doing the work and putting in the time and energy. Blue Letter Bible, to make a website like this, a reference like this, is very expensive and takes so many hours to do. Give them $20, give them $50, contribute to the work that they are doing. If there is a reference, if there's a resource of a non-for-profit that is doing work for the kingdom, share, help them along their path. That's it for my reference on Blue Letter Bible. Now let's continue on. Verse 2.